Welcome to Perkins 5 Technical Assistance, presented by Tennessee Board of Regents, the college system of Tennessee. In this session of Technical Assistance, we will focus on the purpose of the local application as well as the step-by-step process for compiling the Perkins 5 local application. The following items will be discussed in this presentation: purpose of the local application template, annual summary report, goals, budget, and assurances and approvals. Purpose of the local application. Each institution is required to submit a local application to receive Perkins funding as noted in Section 134 of the Perkins 5 legislation. The local application is the institution guide for the entire academic year. It provides a detailed outline of what initiatives, professional development, training, purchases, and events the institution will engage in throughout the year. The local application is the institution contract for how they will support teacher and student growth through the use of Carl D. Perkins funds. Share the local application with institution instructors to create buy-in. Local application template. Open the local application template. This template is available on the Perkins Resources page. Let's take a look at it now. The local application template is divided into multiple worksheet tabs. The first tab is the annual summary report. The next section of tabs are for goals. The following tab is the budget. And the final tab is assurances and approvals. Let's begin with the annual summary report. Annual summary report. The annual summary report should reflect the effectiveness of the most recent year's local application with regard to career and technical education. More specifically, the report should analyze performance data collected during the current academic year, as well as indicate how federal dollars were used to improve programs. The following components comprise the annual summary report: goals, required and permissive uses of funds, Perkins 5 funds used, action steps accomplished, improvements made, summary question. Let's take a look at each component in more detail. In the goals column, identify all goals in your most recent year's local application. If you had more than 3 goals, you may insert additional rows in the template. In the required and permissive uses of funds column, identify your required and permissive uses of funds for each goal. In the Perkins 5 funds used column, identify the total dollar amount spent for each goal. In the action steps accomplished column, identify if all, some, or none of the action steps for the goals have been completed. If some have been completed, identify those action steps. If all or none of the action steps have been completed, type an X in the appropriate column. In the improvements made column, in narrative form, identify all improvements made, using the appropriate data source to determine the improvements. Bulleted items are acceptable. For the summary question, in narrative form, respond to the question: what impact have Perkins funds had on the institution in the most recent year? Goals. The next section of tabs within the template are specifically for goals. The institutional local application must have a minimum of 2 goals, utilize SMART goals, utilize at least 1 action step for each goal, connect goals to the Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment, utilize research-based goals and action steps, base goals and action steps on institution, regional, and/or state data. Data used in determining goals should include, but are not limited to, CTE student data and previously reported Perkins data. Correspond goals to the Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment and 1. A continuation or improvement of the prior year's local application goals, 2. An element of another goal in the current application, or 3. Based upon institution goals. Goal number 1 must focus on one of the following. A. Increasing services which improve performance and prepare students for non-traditional fields. B. Increasing services which close gaps and prepare special populations of students for high-wage, high-skill, or in-demand fields and occupations. C. Increasing work-based learning participation for all CTE students. Or D. Implementation of new programs of study. Goal 2 may focus on any element of the previous goal or may be based on institution goals, the Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment, or other appropriate items. The goals worksheet templates are separated into 3 main sections. Section A is for goal setting, Section B is for action steps and implementation plan, and Section C is the equipment list. Let's take a look at each section within the template. Section A is for goal setting. Section B is for action steps and implementation plan. And Section C is the equipment list. Now we'll identify the items in each section. Section A, Goal Setting. Within Section A, Goal Setting, the following items must be included: Institution SMART Goal, Accountability Focus Area, Local Application Component, Use of Funds, and Professional Development. Now we'll take a closer look at each item. Institution SMART Goal. Goals must be SMART, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Accountability Focus Area. Goals must align to at least one of the following focus areas: completion, credential, graduation, non-traditional, or placement. Local application components. Each of the following components must be addressed in the local application: Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment, Program of Study, Career Exploration and/or Career Guidance, Integration of Academic and CTE Programs, Special Populations, Work-Based Learning Opportunities, Early Post-Secondary Opportunities, Recruitment, Preparation, Retention, and Training, and Disparities or Gaps. Use of funds. Perkins funds must be used for career exploration, professional development, technical skills, academic skills, program of study, comprehensive local needs assessment. Professional development. Professional development activities must be provided for instructors, faculty, school leaders and administrators, career counselors, and academic counselors. The following professional development components may be included: integration, teaching, involvement, and aspects of industry. Additional professional development activities relevant to goals, objectives, and strategies may include externships, technology, modernization, and special populations. Let's take a look at a sample application where Section A, Goal Setting, has been completed. Here we see the institution goal, the accountability focus area, the local application component, use of funds, and professional development activities. Section B, Action Steps and Implementation Plan. Within Section B, Action Steps and Implementation Plan, the following items must be included: at least one action step, timeline, evaluation strategy, professional development activity, expected outcome, use of funds, and line item. Now we'll take a closer look at each item. Action steps. Action steps are strategies and interventions that are research-based and descriptive of how the institution plans to ensure progress toward the goal. Activities, equipment, the use of new and emerging technology, professional development, and special populations must be addressed in the action steps. Timeline. When will the action step take place? Do not use ongoing or July through June for all timelines. Action step timelines, which target a specific time frame, will facilitate implementation and evaluation of the action step. Evaluation strategy. Evaluation should take place during the action step timeline. Many of these strategies should be evaluated frequently during the timeline. Below is a listing of questions to ask yourself as you develop the evaluation strategy. What do you plan to do to determine if the action step is either working or not working? Are the teachers going to compare data? Are you going to meet and discuss data? And when? Professional development audience. Professional development activities must be provided for instructors, faculty, school leaders and administrators, and career counselors and academic counselors. Professional development activity. The following professional development components may be included: integration, teaching, involvement, and aspects of industry. Additional professional development activities relevant to goals, objectives, and strategies may include externships, technology, modernization, and special populations. Expected outcome. If your action steps go as planned, what do you hope will be the outcome of this action step? What does success look like? If your professional development goes as planned, what do you hope will be the outcome? What does success look like? These should align to the goal the action step is reinforcing. Use of funds. Funding source may be Perkins, institution funds, or another source. If institution funds will be used to meet a requirement, enter institution funds for the line item. If any action steps require salaries, then a job description must be included. Line item. Line items should be categorized into administrative, salary, equipment, professional development, or Skills USA. If no funding is necessary for the action step, enter no funds needed for the line item. Amount. Indicate the amount of Perkins funds which will be used to implement the action step. Amount should match the amount submitted in the budget. If no Perkins funding is necessary for the action step, enter 0 for the action step. Let's take a look at a sample application where Section B, Action Steps and Implementation Plan, has been completed. Here we see in Section B, Action Steps and Implementation Plan, Action Step number 1, Timeline, Evaluation Strategy, Professional Development, Professional Development Activity, Expected Outcome, Use of funds, and line item. Section C, Equipment List. The purchasing of equipment to improve programs should be indicated in an action step and in the equipment list. The purpose for Section C is to list the equipment that is purchased with Perkins funds within the current application. The equipment should be listed by action step, program of study, and campus within Section C. Equipment should be specific. Writing computers is not acceptable. However, 15 Dell laptops is acceptable. Note that this equipment list is in addition to the ongoing permanent Perkins equipment list that is maintained for equipment purchases this year and in years past. Within Section C, Equipment List, the following items must be included: action step, program of study, instructor, equipment, cost, and location. Now we'll take a closer look at each item. Action step. Reference the action step for which the equipment is being purchased. Program of study. List the program of study for which the equipment is being purchased. Instructor. List the instructor who will utilize the equipment being purchased. Equipment. Specifically list the equipment to be purchased. Cost. List the total cost to be spent on the equipment purchased. Location. List the location, including campus and room number where the equipment will be used. Let's take a look at a sample application where Section C, Equipment List, has been completed. Here we see in Section C, Equipment List, the action step, the program of study, instructor, equipment being purchased, total cost of equipment being purchased, and the campus location. Budget. The budgeting worksheet is divided into the 5 categories for which Perkins funds may be used: administrative and consumables, equipment, professional development and services, salaries and benefits, and Skills USA. There is a line assigned for each goal and corresponding action step. As dollar amounts are entered in the goals worksheets, the dollar amounts will automatically populate to the corresponding line item in the budgeting worksheet. The total budgeted amount should not exceed the total allocation. Let's take a look at a sample application where the budgeting worksheet has been completed. On the budgeting worksheet, we see the 5 categories for which Perkins funds may be used: administrative and consumables, equipment, professional development and services, salaries and benefits, and Skills USA. Notice the dollar amount for goal number 1, action step number 1, is automatically filled in the budgeting worksheet. The total dollar amount in the budgeting worksheet should not exceed the total allocation. Assurances and approvals. Read the assurances and approvals. Signing off on the assurances and approvals means the institution agrees to execute all listed. The President and Chief Financial Officer must sign this document. Indicate consortium status. If part of a consortium, please explain. Receive TBR approval. Institution funds cannot be reimbursed with Perkins funds until your application has been approved by the Office of Student Success. Any funds spent prior to application approval are not allowed to be reimbursed, even after the application is approved. Let's take a look at a sample assurances and approvals form. Here we see a sample assurances and approvals form. Please be reminded to read through the items listed. Finally, obtain the necessary signatures and submit to the Tennessee Board of Regents. The completed local application should be uploaded to the appropriate Perkins Uploads page for submission. The local application is now complete. Thank you for watching this session of Technical Assistance presented by Tennessee Board of Regents, the college system of Tennessee.